Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking a new video of mine. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today we're talking about why Kane goes home here. We're going to go into all of the strategy here, kind of recap it through my view, give my opinion on the strategy, who is dumb, who is smart, all that stuff in this video. If you guys haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really does help the channel out. Okay, so I guess the first place to start is kind of Kane's edit so far. So far, Kane has been shown to be a bad player. I've said this publicly on the podcast this season, that Kane, to me, is the worst player on this season in a vacuum. Yes, including all of these pre-merge boots who didn't play the game so well. I mean, just in a pure vacuum, if you played Survivor 100 times and Kane was the cast member each time, I think Kane would go out the earliest on average each time. The guy has shown that he's not that good at Survivor. In the tribals that we've seen him, he's failed every single time. And most importantly, at the first tribal of the entire season, with Brandon playing his idol and idling out Maddie, it showed how bad he was there, because the rest of the tribe is smart enough, being Jamie and Gathu, to play their shot in the dark and not expose themselves, knowing that Kane will be stupid enough to still vote for Brandon in case Brandon does not play his idol. So Gathu and Jamie play that a lot better than Kane. Kane exposes himself, unknowingly votes for Brandon, a person who has an idol. He's just not in the know at all at that tribal and comes back with Brandon as a huge up. Now, he's lucky that he was able to get Brandon back as an ally towards the merge, but we really didn't see any work done by him to help that happen. So clearly, this was just kind of luck. And of course, the fact that at the merge, your tribe has to come together. But I really do think it shows that Kane is not that great. And then at the last tribal, of course, we saw Kane get blindsided with Brandon getting idled out by Danny, which was absolutely horrible. Again, Kane's tribe getting duped once more. And then at this tribal where he goes home, we again see him get duped, which kind of leads us to this episode as a whole. So I really feel like Kane's edit increased a lot starting in this episode. We really got to know Kane this episode, which I liked. I really wish that we had gotten this edit a little bit earlier. Maybe they didn't give him a lot to work with as far as like the editors having content on Kane. But I do wish that if there is content out there, that we had seen it, especially the past few episodes building up to his blindside. But nonetheless, I think Kane's strategy in this episode was not that bad. I really do think Tika was better off going with the Ratu players, and of course getting out a Soka member such as Danny. I think Danny was the right person to blindside just from an outside and objective perspective. With that being said, of course, Kane fails yet again to convince this Tika tribe to flip on the tribe that has the biggest threat in the game right now in Danny. On top of that, the Ratu tribe plans a split vote that does not work in any way, shape, or form. It's pathetic. It ends up being 3 votes in total on Heidi, including Jamie's 2 votes because they used Lauren's extra votes, and then 1 vote on Danny. So now you have 3 and 1, and the rest of the entire tribe, being all of the Tika and Soka members, vote for Kane, aside from 1 in Franny who votes for Jamie just in case. I mean, Kane gets duped yet again. And I think what really leads up to this failure comes with them not coming together with Soka, going to someone like Franny who has this same idea and telling Franny, hey, let's get together, let's blindside the Tika tribe. I get that this war is going on, and I think at the end of the day, that conversation between Danny and Franny, where Danny says, no, we have to beat the other side, that there is no blindsiding, the flippers in Tika. It looks stupid in the moment, but now it looks smart because, of course, they were able to get another Ratu member out. But I do think, as far as Ratu's best interest, it was to get out a Tika member. So finding that person who's willing to do that in Franny, the person who's willing to blindside someone like Jam Jam, I think is perfect for their game. And the fact that they didn't do that and even failed to try shows their failure in this game, and a big reason as to why they lost here. And then, of course, speaking on this Tika tribe, I think, 1, they're getting the best edits in the game. Between Jam Jam, Carolyn, Carson, they're really all getting what you could call a winner's edit. Now, my curiousness is, where do you see them get blindsided? I mean, one of them has to go. We're obviously not going to get like a full Tika final three. That just doesn't happen nowadays. So one of them is going to have to get blindsided. I don't think Jam Jam or Carolyn would flip on each other. I think Jam Jam may flip on Carolyn, but I don't think Carolyn is going to flip on Jam Jam. And I think if Jam Jam's smart, he just wouldn't blindside Carolyn for the pure reason that she's probably a GOAT right now in the game compared to most players. So with that being said, I feel like it would be Carson. I mean, Carson has to be the one that's getting blindsided. It's a matter of when. Is Carson going to go out at 4, like super late, or is he like next episode's big blindside? Because eventually these Ratus and Sokas are going to have to come together and vote out the flippers, because at some point they're both going to be burned. I think next episode, if Ratu is still loyal to Jam Jam and Carson and Carolyn, they're stupid because they've now been duped twice by them. They may not see it as that. They may see it as the Soka members, getting the best of them twice. But the reason that Soka tribe has won the past 2 episodes is because of the Tika players in the middle. So as far as moving forward, I really do think the best thing for everybody in the game except for Carolyn, Jam Jam, and Carson is, of course, for everyone to vote out the Tika members, specifically someone like Carson. I think Jam Jam has such a giant threat on him, but I do like his chances of winning right now. The entire game is being told from his story. Same with Carolyn to a lesser extent right now, but overall in the season, just the same. They both also got really personal content last episode during that little emotional part of the episode, especially Carolyn, who actually got a sob story that I actually related to and enjoyed, because we waited. We didn't show it all in the premiere. We waited and then showed the sob story at Final 7, which is how they used to do it. It means a lot more because I actually care about Carolyn a lot more than I did the first episode. And so I really do like what I'm seeing here as far as the strategy and edits for those 2 tribes. And that really just leaves the Sokas. I think the best thing for Soka to do is what they're doing right now. Just keep Tika flipping back to them, and eventually the Ratus are going to wake up and flip over to Soka to blindside someone like Carson or Jam Jam. I think Soka's doing great. I think Danny is doing great, although his threat level is giant and his edit is getting worse and worse as they're showing him more as an asshole and an asshole. Even though I think his opinions are perfectly fine, it's the way that he's saying it and the edit is portraying them that makes it look bad. I'll give you an example. At Tribal, he says, well, I really don't think that the people who quit the challenge are doing it for the tribe. They're doing it to get food for themselves, which is 100,000% true. But we see this all the time in politics and in social media. You can say something true, but it's more your tone and how you say it. And so I really do think his edit right now is based on how he's talking and not what he's saying. And hopefully it can turn around. Hopefully it was just a 1 episode fake out. But if this continues, his winning chances will be down the drain. Heidi is getting an interesting edit where she found the idols. So maybe she could be a winner candidate because winners find idols. Obviously, we all know that. And then as far as Franny, I don't know how good she is at the game. I think she's one of the more weak players in this post-merge, but I think her story and her edit is there. And I think if she can link up with someone like Carolyn and make a bond there, she could go really, really, really far. But what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. And if that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one.